results. What are your thoughts on that? Because I come from a sugar growing area. I want to see what your I want to hear what your thoughts are on that.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I agree with the Honorable Junet that part of the problem, obviously, in the sugar industry, I'm speaking very quickly on these issues, because as you can see, the time aspect.
Your time is up, actually.
Yes, absolutely. I want to say, Mr. Chairman, that the issue that we want to address, and it is good that the Chairman has pointed out that the bill, is just waiting for the aggression. Increasing efficiency of production is part of the solutions that Honorable Emase was raising. Because if you increase efficiency and you reduce the cost of production, then automatically that wastage that was happening within that structure would go to the farmer. It goes without saying. And it is clear, anybody who has been following that sugar sector issue is clear. With the kind of debt write-offs that we have done as a government, it means that you can reduce that burden a little bit. If we then get licensees, these people who want to work with, who want to partner, the disease, who want to work with the sugar sector, whether it is especially the government-owned mills, if they want to come to us and the farmers are in agreement and the caucus within this parliament is in agreement that that's the way to go in order for us to create efficiency in the sugar sector, by all means, that's what we should do.
Thank you, Honorable
Dawood,
Speaker.
you've had more than your fair share.
Yeah.
Which one now?
Mukami?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, let me first declare that I'm the county MP of the nominee. Honorable Speaker, we have a very serious problem in the pyrethrum sector. Right now, I've received a message from a farmer. They are saying for the last 3 months, they have not received the money after delivering the pyrethrum, and yet, even the workers have not been paid for 2 months. So, Waziri, I would like to hear what you are going to do about that and the measures you are going to take to make sure that we avoid such delays. The other thing is about the dairy farmers. How will you institute reforms in the dairy, tea, and coffee sectors to boost productivity? Thank you.
Thank you. Russell?
Thank you, Honorable Chairman. Honorable Mutahi, the objective of the national livestock vaccination is to strengthen disease control and surveillance to create a disease-free zone in Kenya, for Kenya to access international markets and expand the livestock export market. If we go by what you said, that a farmer can be given choice whether to vaccinate his cow or goat, then we are unlikely to achieve this objective. Are you likely to stand by what you have said, or you are likely to change your mind if the House approves your nomination? Secondly, it is on food security.
Thank you, Raz. I was going to ask him the same question.
On food security, I really want to hear from you. 20% of Kenya is the only arable land available for food production. And 80% is ASAL, arid and semi-arid land. This is a debate since independence. And you could be the 20th or the 30th Minister for Agriculture. If the House approves your nomination, I want to repeat that again. What is it that you are likely to do? Because food is expensive today in Kenya. Production of it is expensive. And more importantly, it's because of the scale of production that is low. So in a sense, food must be expensive. As the nominee for the Ministry of Agriculture, what is it that you are likely to do so that we expand the envelope of agriculture food production? And at the same time, what is it that you are likely to do so that there is incentive for farmers to actually feel that, yes, I can produce more maize I can produce more potatoes. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Mule,
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. My concern is what he began with, that is the marketing. And I want to put it clear to you that the country faces challenges in marketing, leakages and distribution of produce, especially from the local farmers and small farmers, to brokers who take advantage of the fragmented distribution chain to enrich themselves. What do you intend to do to improve the domestic market links and information systems within the market? And last, Mr. Speaker, your predecessor sat there and I asked him about the tea issue in Mombasa. And he promised that committee, once he is approved, he'll deal with the issue within weeks. Up to today, maybe that's why he has been deployed to be an ambassador. Up to today, we are still talking about issue stack of tea stack in Mombasa. And when Mwananchi, Wanjiku, Kinuthia, who is planting tomatoes, yet we still have influx of products from the neighboring countries within. And yet they are, the cost of those products at the market are cheaper than the Kenyan produced products. And this is across board. That is tomatoes, cabbage, maize, onions, and everything. And you need to spur that growth of productivity at that level. What are you going to do if you are approved by the House? And putting in mind, we were given a promise by your predecessor, a month or so, nothing has happened. 2 years down the line.
yes, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I want first to start with admitting that the pyrethrum sector that Honorable Mokami referred to is in a mess. I would, to put it any other way, would be to do the proverbial ostrich, thing and bury my head to the ground. And the only thing I can say is, broadly speaking, it is an area I intend to sit with the industry itself, the entire industry, and unravel whatever has been bedeviling it since almost independence. Since the Americans got out who are buying this pyrethrum of ours, we have never quite recovered in the pyrethrum sector. And all I can say is that I will need time to sit with them so that we can resolve whatever issues exist with them. I do not have the silver bullet with me right now. The second thing is on the issue of dairy farmers. I think I spoke at length about the industry to the extent, and I think it's the Honorable Junet who raised it, that I have to work with the marketing agencies, particularly the cooperative ministry, in order for us to streamline. But for me, there are a couple of things that we can do anyway in agriculture. The first thing is that I said, and to begin with, and perhaps that is what I'll eventually end with, that we have to put money in the farmer's pocket. If, for example, and I'm referring to coffee because you have raised it, not because, and I grew up there, so I know a little bit more about it. Coffee, for instance, was biggest challenge has always been the gap between the farmer and the market. The fact that you grow coffee and give it to somebody, you have no idea how much you have sold it at. You have no idea who is going to process it. You have no idea where it is going. And sometime in the future, you expect to be paid. There is no such business case that can exist anywhere, whether in farming or in any other areas. And I think that closing that gap, and I hope that the coffee bill also being proposed, is that closing the gap between whether it's in sugar, knows a little bit about the market. And I'm glad, Mr. Chairman, because under the current market. And I'm glad, Mr. Chairman, because under the current structure, at least my understanding as I speak today, is that cooperatives are also getting broking licenses. And as you know, that went to the CMA. They are the ones who are approving that structure, so that cooperatives themselves can also form part of the marketing team. Private sector does that. If you go and see Sasini tea or Sasini milk, Sasini coffee in the supermarkets, it's actually processed by the grower of Sasini. So it is something that we must face in order for it. But the other thing is the productivity per acre. You know, the aspect of the quality, the quantity of produce. Again, even if you look at both coffee and tea sector, if you look at the sugar sector, what you'll find is that the private sector players can produce a ton within, one metric ton can come. They have got a ratio of 10:1 for the private sector and 15:1 for the government sector, which informs also what Honorable Junet was talking about. So I think that that linkage between efficiency, private sector, the buyers, and the farmer is the solution to our problem. Mr. Chairman, on the issue of protect his cow or to protect his herd at all, if the alternative is that the herd is going to die, what has been missing is a communication and engagement with that person so that they understand exactly what the stakes are. And that choices. So we will never be able to be disease-free at 10%. If we increase that figure over a period of about 3 to 4 years, say for example, cover 90% over 3 years, we begin to be FMD disease-free. So my intention is not, as it were, to say that I have given people assurance and then kept back, assurance and then kept back, slept on it. It is to make sure that the communication in which we are executing will make sure that the farmer is ready to do what he needs to do to protect his livestock. And I commit myself to that.
That's not what you said earlier.
I said, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman,
Nominee, earlier you said, I will turn up with my vaccine. Do I vaccinate your cow? You say, no, I leave you and move on. And remember,
can I explain?
Just hold on. Just hold on. You are here to answer questions. Yes. You turn up with your vaccine. The farmer says, I'm not interested. You leave the cow and go to the next. Now, the cow you have left behind is bearing a disease that will infect the one that you have vaccinated next door. So is that how you want to run the ministry, or you have vacated that position?
Mr. Chairman, I have not vacated that position. Let me explain. Don't take it too literally. I think that is the problem.
That's what you say.
What I'm saying, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, is this. I said, and I repeat, nobody is going to be forced. You cannot go and force a farmer with a gun or whatever it is to go there and tell a farmer, you must absolutely vaccinate this cow, or else I'm going to take you to a police station. That is not the way to approach the issue. The choice that I have created, Mr. Chairman, is a choice where you are saying, listen, there is no force of vaccinating your cow. However, if you don't want us to vaccinate it, we can leave it. However, these are the problems that you are going to incur. And that is why I'm saying, Mr. Chairman, nobody with the proper communication is going to make that choice. What you cannot do is go there at gunpoint and tell somebody. You can imagine the kind of fighting you might have with some people, with pangas and so on, if you try that system. So all I'm saying, Mr. Chairman, and don't take it too literally, is that we will give people a choice, but we'll make sure that they make the right decision.
Mule. The last one from Mule.
I'd ask.
Products from our neighbors.
Yeah, sorry, Mr. Chairman. Yes, on the issue of the East African the East African situation is a challenging one, Mheshimiwa Mule, because we have got the East African Protocol, which has given us certain conditions. We have got the COMESA Protocol, which has also given certain conditions. And the only way for us to work on this issue is to make sure that our cost structure is not as high as it is. In other words, if we are putting this, and perhaps what the government has started in terms of subsidizing fertilizers and subsidizing other farm inputs, can assist us in bringing down our cost of production so that our people, the prices of our goods are not, do not exceed those ones of Uganda and Tanzania. We have got quotas. And I think there's a discussion between the East African countries that has got to be done, because don't forget that even as we complain about what they are bringing in, they too are complaining about what we are taking there and the balance of payment issues between the East African nations. So I think eventually it will come to an equilibrium, but I think on our part, on my part, my role and my job is to try and make sure to mitigate the circumstances so that we are producing at an affordable rate where we can both make money for the farmer, but also make sure that the consumer is not advancing for the importation of others because they are cheaper than their own products. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. A few questions from the public.
Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
He didn't answer the second part of my question.
Which is?
On the issue
food
of
security.
ASAL.
The ASALs.
Yes.
I think I'd spoken a little bit about that issue of food security and the issue of ASAL region. But let me just quickly wrap what I had said. I had said that we need a huge infusion of our research organizations in those areas, particularly the arid and semi-arid areas, because the farming in the area we have got to bring products that are conducive to the climate. The climate won't change. So it is our climate, it is our products that must change to suit the climate. If it is the question of damming, and I said earlier that I would work with the Ministry of Irrigation, the Ministry of Water and Irrigation, to ensure that we are doing more dams that we are. Some county governments have done a fantastic job in terms of creating water ponds, for example, that can be used both for crop as well as livestock support. But I think there is more to be done, and I think that I will work with the county governments that are in place and see where the support that we can give in terms of creating these disease-resistant crops, drought-resistant crops. And I think I'd spoken to that issue a little bit earlier. And you are right. If we don't address, the semi-arid area has to be in the future the main farming area, because it is a larger part of Kenya. But we also have seen countries in the world that are within very dry areas making huge production. I mean, Egypt, we have got Israel, we have got countries around us that we can copy. Australia and so on. So we can do it. It's a question of the political will and the time to do it.
Thank you. Mishi?
Mr. Speaker.
Mishi's question about the planned crops of the coasts.
Yeah,
Coconut, Bixa. Did you answer that?
And Chair, also...
Yeah, Chairman,
yes.
Just on the same breath, there is one section of farmers which you have not addressed, and I want to talk about it, to ask the question on the horticultural farming. There is this question, and it is some challenges, especially the stringent international standard which they are facing. The other one is the Ethiopian's fledgling cut flower industry. So how are you going to intervene so that you ensure that our farmers doing horticultural also can benefit from this?
Chair, if we can respond to the issue of the bulk tea at the port of Mombasa. I know it is a serious issue whereby it is ordering serious economic background to this country. And we really need very clear directive from him when he takes off the ministry. Because last time we were given 2 months to handle it. It's still there. And farmers are suffering.
Nominee?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. My understanding,